Getting young people to vote is no easy task. With election season underway, party leaders are hoping that Canada's youth population is paying attention. The 2011 federal election saw a dismal voter turnout of less than 39% for people ages 18 to 24. With more on why young people are taking so few ballots, we're joined by CTV Pollster Nik Nanos. Good morning. Thanks for being on the show again. I know you've been working pretty hard over the last couple of days. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
So, let's focus in a little bit on this because it's always a discussion platform for, how do you kind of rock the youth vote, as it were? How do you get them out? How do you do this? What about, and from your perspective, polling? How do we know that they're not voting in the same numbers, or that they are, for that matter? How does the polling work for young people?
Well, the thing is that there have been a number of studies done. And, for the polling that we do at Nanos, that includes land and cell lines, which means that young people can participate in the poll, and they do participate in polling. And there have been academic studies done. The thing about youth voting is the problem is in the past, it's been kind of like an eat your vegetables strategy, right? Elections Canada has told young people, you know what, you should vote. It's very important. But the research suggests that voters, young voters, are no different than any other voter, whether they're middle-aged or old. That's all they ask themselves is, what's in it for me? And it's pretty clear that because the main parties are not dealing with issues that directly affect the day-to-day lives of young people, they're not able to connect, and hence they're not able to get them to come out and vote.
So, what then would be the strategy from the polling that you have done for young people? We're hearing a lot about, obviously, families and the economy and all those kinds of issues. Where in there is the engagement for youth?
Well, think of it this way. If politics was a buffet, it would be like thin gruel. They'd go up to the first station and be like, baby bonus, don't need that. Second station, income splitting, don't need that, and so on and so forth. The most interesting election was the Quebec provincial election 2 times back. In that election, tuition fees were actually one of the key factors that all of the provincial parties focused on, and youth voting went from like 30% in Quebec to 60%. So, one thing that could happen is if parties could focus on issues like education, like, for example, your first job, then it'd probably be more likely to connect with young people and to motivate them not just to get involved in politics, but also to come out and vote, because they're going to say, you know what, if I vote for candidate or party X, Y, or Z, they have something that can affect my day-to-day life, and that is important to me. Yeah,
interesting. And before we let you go, just on a logistical front, because you said cell phones are being used for these polls, there are a lot of young people who don't even have a landline in their homes or whatever. They're using cell phones or using electronics. So has the polling changed quite drastically over the years to make sure that social media is part of it?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it's the form of polling has changed. Not only do we add cell phones in order to make sure that young Canadians, and also Canadians that just don't have landlines, are in the sample, we're also running much shorter surveys. I don't want to say that people's attention span is shorter, but the reality is 10, 20 years ago, we would do surveys that were 20, 30 minutes long. Wow. Now the sweet spot is about 5 to 7 minutes long, because we know that that's the level of attention that Canadians are willing to provide in order for us to get the highest possible participation rate.
Interesting. Nik Nanos, thank you once again.
Thank you.